Forget everything you know about bulking and cutting, because I know from majorly messing up in my 20s that extreme diet swings never last. But a body recomposition breakthrough helped me gain 12 pounds of mostly muscle at age 40, while still feeling confident at the beach, spending as little as 4 to 5 hours in the gym a week, and it doesn't involve health risks or the use of steroids. Most people approach fitness with an all or nothing mindset and think that you've got to eat so much you feel uncomfortable with your body, then cut down to nearly starving. But what if you were just 2 to 3 weeks away from seeing your body start to change in a way that you want without going to extremes? I used to think doing more in the gym was always better, and being a former competitive CrossFit athlete, this was really hard for me to let go of. I thought I had to be doing high intensity fitness and extra cardio to burn fat. In the end, I had to design a self-experiment of dropping all the extra stuff and weighing myself daily to prove to myself that only lifting weights and walking would work. But as it turns out, strength training is super efficient for body recomp in as little as a few hours a week if you do these 2 things. Number 1, push your intensity. If you're not setting off the lunk alarm at Planet Fitness with your involuntary grunting, you probably need to make it harder. Make your top sets of the day really count, and you can see muscle gain even with shorter workouts. Number 2, use progressive overload. What this means is you must challenge yourself week after week to lift more than before. This means you can't just do random workouts with the same old weights. Find a plan, whether it's mine or someone else's, that returns to the same or similar lifts so you can keep building strength every time. For now, remember my 2x2 rule to make sure you hit the minimum for body recomposition. Push at least 2 sets per area of your body per week to the max, and you're good to go. A lot of people, especially women, find this counterintuitive because they don't want to look muscular and huge. Rest assured that gaining lots of muscle mass takes time and effort, and you're not going to blow up overnight. Instead, you're building the shape and structure of your body so that as you start to lose fat, you reveal a lean, toned physique. Nutrition for body recomposition gets confusing fast. You've got to eat less to cut fat, but you got to eat more to build muscle. This is where I really went off the rails when I was younger. I'd either be eating soggy salads and starving my way through the day, or eating everything in sight and falling asleep on the couch with an empty peanut butter jar. It was only when I learned the 3 things to focus on that clicked. This also gave me the freedom to eat what I liked instead of wrestling with complicated meal plans, especially when going out. The first part of this is obvious. If you want to get smaller, you need to overall eat fewer calories. And if you want to get bigger, you need a little bit more. So find your calorie target online. I'll link you to my macro calculator, and be sure not to overestimate your daily activity since that can throw things off a lot. Now we get to the key of this whole thing. Protein. How is it that lifting weights without doing cardio can burn fat and help you look hot? Because protein is the building block of muscle. And when you eat enough protein and lift heavy weights, you can increase the percentage of lean muscle on your body. The more lean muscle you carry, the higher your basal metabolic rate. In other words, you burn more calories just sitting around doing nothing when you have more muscle on your body. And this compounds over time.
Real training means real sweating, and sweating makes me think of hydration, and there's no way to hydrate if you're not considering your electrolytes that you're taking in as well. That's why Element is my choice for hydration. It is a science-backed electrolyte formula with 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. It's delicious, it has no sugar, and it's easily dissolvable right into some water. I mix one of these up with about 30 ounces of water right before I train. I make sure I drink the whole thing before I get into my session. It's going to ensure that I'm hydrated and that all of my sets, all the way up until the very last one, is absolutely at my best performance possible. And of course, it doesn't hurt that this stuff tastes amazing. I find that the raspberry salt with a little bit of ice water is my favorite and my go-to pre-workout every single day.
So that's why protein paired with lifting is priority number 1. After that, you can fill in your calories however you like. It doesn't matter as much. Just don't be afraid of eating carbs, especially before and after your training, since this will help push your intensity with weights. I like a roughly even split of carbs and fats after your protein is accounted for. How long does body recomposition take? I mentioned you can start seeing changes in as little as 2 to 3 weeks, and that's real. But let me save you some heartache by walking through the real examples of how this works. Social media ruined our patience. You might see diet challenges with insane 30-day results, but what happens the second it's over? Fitness is for life, and imagine how much further you can take your physique when you stack up habits that you can keep doing instead of white-knuckling your way through a diet for 30 days. With that said, the mental part of this is important. And while the early wins that you'll get won't be huge, you will start to see them. So use these as motivation to keep going when the ups and downs come. If your inputs are right, you'll see small change start to happen in your first few weeks, and some real wins somewhere between week 6 and 12, depending on your starting place. You can see from these real client examples that body recomposition isn't always linear. You'll run into roadblocks like getting busy or going on vacation. Where do you want to be a year from now? As I've personally coached hundreds of people through this process, here's what I do if you get stuck. First, remember your why, your own personal dream of a future that feels enticing. You'll need to draw on your true motivation for change. And you need to trust that your inputs will get you the outcomes that you want. Sometimes this process feels blind, and it's so tempting to jump on to the latest diet trend or ditch the lifting plan altogether. Stay the course and look for progress in more subtle ways like photos or how your clothes feel if the scale isn't moving. The scale even sometimes goes up right before it goes down. We call this the whoosh. But remember, this is your escape hatch from swinging endlessly from one extreme to another. While a bodybuilder can bulk and cut and look insane on stage for a few hours, that's not realistic for everyday life. Recomposition might take more time, but taking that time is well worth it to give new habits a chance to stick. So lock in, be patient, and stay the course. And if you need progressive training with guidance on how intense to lift, you can check out my Persist program free in the description below. Thanks for watching. Share this with a friend that needs to hear it, and get out there and crush your goals.